Have you ever looked into a cockpit and wondered why some planes have a big steering wheel and others have, well, a little joystick off to the side? Today, we're diving into exactly that. Why Boeing and Airbus, the two absolute giants of aviation, took such different paths. This is the story of yokes versus side sticks. And believe me, it's about a lot more than just controls.
Right? It seems like such a fundamental thing. And this isn't just about what looks cooler or feels better in your hand. The choice between a yoke and a side stick really gets to the heart of a huge philosophical debate about the role of the pilot versus the computer in the cockpit. It's a question that really defines modern aviation.
So, to really get a handle on these different philosophies, we first need to cover some of the basics. Because at the end of the day, whether you're using a yoke or a side stick, the goal is exactly the same: to safely control this massive machine as it moves through the sky.
And that control happens along three axes. You've got pitch, which is the nose going up or down. Then there's bank, which is the wings rolling left or right. And finally, yaw, which is the nose pointing left or right. Both yokes and side sticks manage all these movements, but how they do it, well, that's where they are worlds apart.
And here they are, our two contenders. On one side, you have the classic yoke, a total staple in pretty much every Boeing cockpit. And on the other, the modern side stick, which has become the hallmark of Airbus design. Two very different tools for the exact same job, and each one has its own fascinating story.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. Because the real difference, the big one, isn't something you can see just by looking in the cockpit. It's what's happening under the floor. It's a classic tale, really. Old-school mechanical cables versus new-school digital computers.
The yoke system, you can think of it like a really complex bicycle brake system. When a pilot moves that yoke, they're physically pulling on a whole network of steel cables and pulleys that are directly connected to the control surfaces on the wings and tail. Sure, there are hydraulics to give it a power assist because you need it, but it's a direct physical connection to the airplane. You can feel it.
Now the side stick, it's a completely different beast. It's what we call a fly-by-wire system. When the pilot moves that little stick, it's not pulling any cables. Instead, it's sending an electronic signal to a bunch of flight computers. The pilot isn't directly flying the plane anymore. They're telling the computer what they want the plane to do, and the computer makes it happen.
And this massive difference in technology, it's not just a random engineering choice, no way. It actually reflects two completely distinct philosophies about the relationship between the pilot and the plane. It's a fundamental disagreement on the very art of flying.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Boeing has always been about pilot authority. The pilot is in charge, they have direct control, and the plane gives them warnings like a stick shaker that the pilot must react to. Airbus, on the other hand, sees it more as a partnership. The computer is like a co-pilot, and it has this amazing thing called flight envelope protection that will actively stop a pilot from doing something unsafe.
So what does that actually mean? Well, when an Airbus is in what's called normal law, the computer basically creates a virtual safety bubble around the aircraft. It literally will not let the pilot stall the plane or fly too fast or bank too steeply. It's a proactive safety net, a digital guardian angel that's always watching.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures the skepticism some of the more traditional pilots have. Comparing an Airbus to an Atari console on steroids really highlights that fear of losing the direct physical connection to the aircraft, that feel that many believe is at the core of true airmanship.
Okay, so that's all the high-level philosophy in tech. But what does it all actually mean for the pilot sitting up front every single day? Let's talk about the human factor, what it's really like to fly with a yoke versus a side stick.
You know, one of the first things pilots mention about the side stick is surprisingly practical. It's about space. By getting rid of that big, bulky yoke in front of you, the whole cockpit just opens up. Suddenly, you have a tray table for your charts or your meal, and you have a totally clear view of all your instruments. It sounds like a small thing, but on a long flight, it makes a huge difference.
Now this right here, this is a huge point of debate in the pilot community. In a Boeing, the two yokes are physically linked, so if the captain moves their yoke, the first officer's yoke moves in perfect sync. You can see and feel what the other pilot is doing. But in an Airbus, the side sticks are independent. One pilot can be making an input and the other pilot's stick doesn't move at all. There's an audio warning if both are used at once, but it's a massive difference for crew coordination.
Okay, so we've been through the tech, the philosophy, the human factors. It all comes down to one big question, right? Which one is actually better? The old-school yoke or the new-school side stick?
And the honest truth is, there's no single winner. It's just not that simple.
Both of these systems are incredibly, incredibly safe. They've been proven over billions and billions of flight miles. The choice really just comes down to that difference in philosophy we talked about, one that prioritizes direct pilot authority and another that embraces the incredible potential of computer-assisted flight. Both are valid. They're just different.
And check this out. This quote from a veteran Boeing 737 captain after trying an Airbus simulator for the first time is so telling. He was genuinely shocked at how intuitive and easy the side stick was. It just goes to show you that, at the end of the day, a great pilot can adapt, and their skill is what truly matters, not just the type of controller in their hand.
So as we look to the future, with automation becoming more and more advanced, this whole debate gets even more fascinating. Will the pilot's role shift to being more of a systems manager, making the side stick the obvious, logical choice? Or, in a world where pilots fly manually less and less, will that direct physical feel of a yoke become more important than ever when things go wrong? It's a huge question that's going to shape the next generation of aviation.